In the silent hours before dawn, the marble walls of Topkapi Palace hid a scream that history tried to bury. It was the year 1623, and the voice that shattered the stillness was not that of a soldier, nor of an enemy in chains. It belonged to a girl of only 15, Princess Fatma Sultan, daughter of the most powerful ruler on earth. Her cry echoed down endless corridors like a knife of ice, yet no one dared to help. The eunuchs at the door bowed their heads, paralyzed, for this moment was forbidden even to them. That scream was not born from battle wounds, but from something far worse, a ritual masked as tradition, a secret price carved into the soul of every Ottoman princess. To the outside world, these young women seemed to live in paradise. Wrapped in silks, crowned with jewels, served by dozens of attendants, their lives appeared like a dream. Across Europe and Asia, people imagined Ottoman princesses as creatures of luxury, their existence envied even by queens. But behind the gilded screens and perfumed chambers lurked a truth so horrifying it was erased from official chronicles, censored for more than 600 years. Recently uncovered documents from Istanbul's archives confirm what whispers had always suggested, that the wedding night of an Ottoman princess was less a celebration and more a calculated act of control. What unfolded on those nights was not about love or family. It was about power, obedience, and the breaking of a spirit. Fatma Sultan's childhood had been shaped by brilliance. Born to Sultan Ahmed I and the formidable Köksem Sultan, she was raised among gardens, manuscripts, and the greatest scholars of her age. By 10, she spoke 4 languages, composed poetry, and debated philosophy with men twice her age. Chroniclers praised her beauty, her intellect, her radiant light. She wandered starlit courtyards, studying astronomy and penning lines of calligraphy as delicate as lace. To those who saw her, she was destined for greatness, but none of it mattered. From the moment of her birth, her destiny had been sealed. She was a pawn in the empire's game, her body a coin to purchase loyalty, her marriage a transaction written in the ink of politics. Her groom was Kara Mustafa Pasha, a hardened general 20 years her senior, whose victories on the battlefield had earned him the Sultan's trust. For him, this union was a reward, a ladder to higher power. For her, it was the beginning of tragedy. To prepare her, the palace imposed a ritual feared by every princess, the dreaded Turbai-i Mubarak, the sacred training. In theory, it was refinement. In practice, it was psychological warfare. Under the unyielding eye of Galizar Hatun, an elder matron who had overseen dozens of royal brides, Fatma was locked in chambers designed to erase her sense of self. She was drilled in obedience until even her gestures were no longer her own. She learned 18 different ways to bow, for greeting, for serving, for lying down at her husband's feet. Her walk was choreographed, every step measured, her head tilted at a precise angle, her hands kept below her heart. Her vocabulary was stripped to 43 approved words: gratitude, apology, submission. Any spark of individuality was punished. If she faltered, she was starved, isolated, or humiliated before the harem. Even her mother, the great Köksem Sultan, stood among those who judged her, not as a daughter, but as a tool of the empire. Yet the most terrifying lessons lay beneath the palace, in hidden chambers few ever saw. There, replicas of nuptial rooms awaited, furnished not with comfort, but with wax mannequins crafted by Venetian artisans. Fatma was forced to rehearse her wedding night, commanded by instructors to perform gestures and acts no child should know. Every tear, every tremor of fear was recorded. The more she resisted, the harsher the conditioning became. Slowly, the girl who once dreamed of stars was broken into silence. A week before her wedding, she was confined to the bride's pavilion, an isolated prison wrapped in silks and mirrors. Every detail of her existence was controlled. Her meals were prescribed with the precision of medicine: pomegranates for fertility, almonds for strength, honey to sweeten her body's scent. Alchemists slipped opium and poppy into her perfumes and milk, substances that dulled the will and blurred the mind. Bathing rituals became daily ceremonies, with oils rubbed into her skin until her body felt no longer her own. Tapestries draped the walls with scenes of obedient wives rewarded by paradise. Venetian mirrors forced her to watch herself at all times, turning her into both prisoner and guard of her own body. This was no preparation for marriage. It was indoctrination. By the time the wedding day dawned, Fatma was a shadow of herself. March 15, 1623. While Istanbul celebrated with music, feasts, and parades, the princess sat in silence, trembling. Outside, janissaries displayed their strength. Dancers performed. Musicians filled the palace with songs of triumph. To the people, it was a day of splendor. To her, it was the prelude to an execution. Palace doctors recorded her shallow breaths, cold sweats, and the vacant stare of a child carrying a weight too heavy to bear. As the celebrations ended, Fatma was led to the nuptial pavilion, a structure designed centuries earlier by Mehmed the Conqueror himself. Its 3 levels symbolized purification, surrender, and consummation. But for Fatma, each level was another descent into a carefully constructed nightmare. On the first floor, she was bathed in rose water and sandalwood, her skin rubbed with ointments laced with narcotics that left her body heavy, her mind floating between waking and dreaming. On the second floor, she was dressed in a gown of pearls and silk, magnificent to the eye, but designed to restrict her movement, with hidden clasps and weighted jewels that turned beauty into chains. Her crown pressed down like an iron yoke, forcing her posture into submission. Finally, she was carried to the 3rd floor, the chamber of consummation. The door closed. The torches flickered. Silence fell. What happened inside was never written in chronicles. It survives only in whispers, that she emerged pale and hollow-eyed, never again speaking above a whisper. Others said she fainted and did not wake for days. All accounts agree on one truth. The princess who entered that pavilion was not the same girl who left it. The child who had dreamed of constellations had been consumed by a system that valued obedience over humanity. This was the secret Ottoman history never wanted you to know, that beneath the glittering facade of empire, its princesses were prisoners of rituals too cruel to record. Their wedding nights were not beginnings, but endings. Endings of innocence, of freedom, of self. And while the chronicles erased their pain, the echoes remain in archives, in fragments of testimony, in the haunted silence of their descendants. And now, for the first time in centuries, the truth has been spoken aloud. The truth that behind the walls of Topkapi, gold and silk concealed not luxury, but trauma. A truth that reminds us, history often hides its darkest shadows in the brightest halls of power. If this story has already made your heart tremble, remember, there are countless more secrets buried in the palaces of history. Subscribe so together we can uncover them. And tell me in the comments, which queen or princess's fate should we reveal next? Marie Antoinette? Cleopatra? Anne Boleyn? The choice is yours. Your voice will guide us to the next secret history tried to bury.